Brian and Brian.
Oh, Brian. Okay. All right, let's rock and roll.
Oh, it's a minute early.
Well, that's on Lafayette time. So my clock says.
You know what?
My clock says 26,
That's
27.
fine. I never start.
Anybody will you be okay if we start 3 minutes early?
I think I can handle it.
Okay, we're going to start.
gonna be
I'm going to call to
tense.
order the West Lafayette Community School Corporation regular meeting Board of School Trustees, Wednesday, July the 8th, 2015, at 6:20. Well, 6:29, 6:30, and welcome you all. The revised agenda you have in front of you. Approve the revised agenda for the July 8th, 2015 meeting. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Sauter. Second by Mr. Schott.
See when I'm going.
Oh, yes. And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the June 11, 2015 regular school board meeting. Moved by Dr. Springer. Second by Mrs. Witt. Discussion or any changes? I've got a couple of little things that she corrected. Anything else?
Do you know this is minor, and I'm sorry I'm saying it now. It should be discussion ensued, past tense.
We can add the D.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we have
It's just something that happens.
I sent a similar. Yeah,
Those are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I'm a recovering English teacher, so you just have to go with me.
That's good. I'll take it.
I never did understand the English rules anyway.
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Communication to the audience, I see none here. Unfinished business, I have none. New business, we'll start with Dr. Killian and academic achievement, the West Lafayette Community School Corporation Board of School Trustees resolution.
No.
The Indiana Department of Education, the Superintendent Ritz, has asked for school districts to provide input with regards to this perceived accountability model that we have in place in light of the new standards and the new ISTEP that came out this past year. Superintendent Ritz identified up to 12 options for the State Board of Education to consider. The Fort Wayne Community School Corporation has issued a resolution. TSC as well as LSC are also in the midst of this, and I'm offering for your consideration a resolution that talks about either option 5, which is assign the better AF grade between school year 2013-14 and school year 2014-15, or option 1, which is assign no A through F grade for the 2014-15 school year and carry over the A through F grade from the previous school year. The reason that I'm offering 2 options within the resolution, and you may want to take one of the options out, is because option 5, the Indiana State Board of Education can do without legislative action. Option 1 takes legislative action. And so a lot of schools are leaning towards option 5, but there are some schools that lean towards option 1. I prefer option 1, but if it takes legislative action, you may not get it by the time that the Department of Education has to make a decision. So that's why I offered both within the resolution. So I wanted to present this for your consideration and see if you wanted to pursue this, and if you did, we would move it forward with your consideration and send it to the State Board of Education.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Witt.
Can there not be an additional option, like scrap this thing?
Well, I thought about it. I tried to put as much in there as I could.
I know you did. It's
I
well
added
done.
a whole bunch of things that other school districts I don't think have considered or
just-
thought of.
Yeah. My only question
Okay,
about, we need a second.
Second by Dr.
Okay.
Springer. Sorry, go ahead.
My only question is if you're proposing we submit both.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, that's part of the resolution, that either they should approve either option number 5 or number 1.
Right. And that's okay.
That way we can have the best of both worlds.
Is there any way it can be prefaced if we have to choose an option, if there is no possibility of eliminating I-STEP and rating the schools thereby?
Well, that wasn't one of the 12, so.
Wow.
But I think I made it pretty clear
Yeah.
that there's no educational value to
Oh,
the
there's none,
I-STEP.
absolutely none.
Because it doesn't tell you how students are doing compared with other states or other nations. And there's no value
Yeah,
to the.
it's well
comparison.
done, Rocky.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
is.
Okay. Tom, are there any other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. I appreciate the effort on that, and the
Yeah.
motion carries.
Well, and then if you would all sign it tonight, then I will get a copy to the press and also send it to the Department of Education.
Okay, very good. All right, we need to move on that. Education Foundation update. Mike Pedley, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update of where we've progressed with the foundation and give you a little bit of an idea of what we're looking at as we continue to move forward. I think I talked to Alan that I might be able to come and talk to you maybe 2 or 3 times a year, just so we can kind of keep the communication up between our 2 organizations. So I want to talk to you today about the 2014 annual campaign. So that usually starts off in November or so, and then kind of carries through December, and then there's a little bit of carryover, so I want to give you some update on that. Talk to you about 2 of the fundraisers that we had. First, in regard to our 2014 annual campaign, this year we were, the last count that I had, now it's possible that my number has moved up a little bit. We were just short of $19,000. $15,000 of that is going to go into our general fund. The other amounts are where someone responded to the annual campaign and may have put money like into a scholarship or into some specific area, like if they said, hey, I want to go to the backpack program or something like that. The number of donors, we were up 42% from last year, so we were up to 121. We are not nearly where we need to be with this, and we're going to be taking some action, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, to try to get that up. And new donors, these are donors who have not given before. Last year we had 11 new donors. This year we had 46 new donors. So that was a good sign, and again, we are going to be having some endeavors to try to drive those numbers up as well. West Side Story, we grossed about $55,000. During the West Side Story, we had a paddle raise for the backpack program in particular. There was about $6,000 raised for that. We also had the sale of some glasses, and there was one other thing that we did, I can't remember now, but we were able to raise some additional money for the teacher grants, which is fantastic. The net amount we raised was about $38,000. Some of these numbers are rounded off a bit, so about $38,000. Last year that number was a little bit higher, and we know the West Side Story is going to fluctuate. Last year I want to say it was around like 43 or 45,000. So we did a little bit better last year, but last year was really a kind of a huge bump, and this is a little bit closer to what we normally do. We realize that's going to fluctuate depending on the number of people who are able to attend, when the date is. So we were pretty happy with that. We're not really looking necessarily to grow this event. We had it at the Country Club this year. It was a little bit tight in space. In general, they did a pretty good job. The food was good. There was a point at which some of the food wasn't coming out as well. We don't know if that had an effect, but I think in general people had a pretty good time at it. So we may be looking for a new location this year. And please stop me anytime you have a question.
$2,300 was raised for teacher grants, but how much will be given to teacher grants this
I'll get
year?
to that in just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. We had a fundraiser on May 17th at Hunter's Pub for this event. They gave a certain percentage of the food sales and the tips that were raised. So the owners of Hunter's made the servers whole. So any tips that we got came to the foundation, but she then reimbursed her servers to make sure that they were compensated fairly. It was a great event. I had people saying, hey, could you guys do this every month? So we think we're going to end up doing this twice a year. and we will probably stick with having the theme of what we're raising for be teacher grants, and again, that was $4,000 that went to teacher grants. So and maybe while I'm on this one, so normally we've given about $6,000 we've designated that for teacher grants. That's about what we had in the budget. Again, this year, you can see with both of these events, we've added, almost doubled that. And we've not yet talked about whether do we give away all of that, or should we just bump it up to 10 and save some for the next year, or do we go into maybe a couple rounds of this? So we're still thinking about how we do that, how we handle that.
May I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
Having been on that committee for several years, I would suggest you not use all of it, because it often becomes the number of teachers requesting grants maybe are not, according to the committee's ideas, worthy of that grant money.
Right.
But if it's there and say you're going to spend it, then you're obligated to. So
Yeah,
that
we're
would be
trying to
right.
balance what that would be to make
Okay.
sure we would be giving it
Who's
away
chair-
within the
Mary Beth
rubric.
is chairing that,
That's right, Mary
Okay.
Beth's
She'll be
chairing it,
okay.
so, yeah, so we'll
Good.
be good, I think. So, just to let you know some of the other programs we support, the backpack program, we obviously are supporting the fundraising piece for the backpack program for the school year, and we're also looking to see if we can help with the summer backpack program, the Gearing Up for Success, the Robotics Club, and funding for scholarships. So for the backpack program, 2014-15, we raised over $22,000, and just to give you a little bit of idea where that funding came from, just to review, $6,000 came from the West Side Story. There was when that story ran on News 18, the Lafayette Life Foundation and the Kiwanis Club, and then multiple other community donations. And I think we've got the money from West Side Story wrapped into those community donations as well. So we should have about $33,000 available for both those programs. We will continue to need to focus on our fundraising for this. We have a number of students who take advantage of that, and most of them are on the free or reduced lunch. But the percentage that are in West Side schools who can get free and reduced lunch, we are not even, I don't even think we're close to 100% of those kids participating in the backpack program. So it's possible demand there could go up. So we'll have to continue to think about how we raise funds for this program as well. We will be looking at not only some of these fundraising events that we've done, but also writing some grants as well.
I'm sorry I keep asking questions.
It's okay.
But that's the way I am. The backpack program, most of the students who participate are elementary students, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
But we have several high school students, junior high and high school, who are on free and reduced lunch. Maybe some look ought to be given to how they can profit from the monies of the backpack program.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'd have to talk to because we don't run the program
Right,
itself.
right, I know
We're doing
that,
the
I know that.
fundraising piece, but we can certainly
Right.
talk to the volunteers who do the program about that. That's a great idea. Thank you for that. Any other questions on that?
Do you have a sense of what the cost is per child?
I don't
I don't
recall off the
know.
top of my
Yeah,
head.
that's
April,
not
do you happen to
your-
know that off the top of your head?
Last I heard it was about $216.
Yeah,
A week?
Approximately.
it's 200 and something per kid.
A year.
Yeah, I think it's a year
Okay.
of support.
Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, other programs, we have a number of scholarships that we administer. We still do, we still handle raising money for those. As I said, some of that came in for the annual campaign. The Gearing Up for Success had money from Children's Riley Hospital. My understanding, I think, is that program is closed. Is that right? Have they ceased that program? So we contacted Children's Riley Hospital and that's the foundation that we got the grant from, and they were fine with us switching the funding to the backpack program because it falls in line. I don't think it's that entire amount, but it's probably a few $100s again that we got into the backpack program. We also had an application from the robotics club, and we made a $5,000 commitment to them to help with their trip to MIT. Or 500, sorry.
5,000 would be delightful.
Yeah.
But they would take
It's
$5,000.
wishful thinking, right? $500, right? So other things that I want to kind of update you on and where we're going. We have started looking at potentially new databases. Ours is in need of a lot of attention, and we thought, well, if we were to make a change at any time, this might be a time to look at making a change. I don't know whether we will or not. So we're looking at that, and we've got the development committee is helping us consider what we should do. There may be a number of other things that we do besides switching that up and cleaning it up, like getting some additional information in there to help us eventually with a major gift component to what we're doing. We're rethinking the alumni events. A decision was made to not do the all-class reunion. The attendance of that had been dwindling over the past several years, and it was down to about 40-some people last year. So we thought, instead of doing something else that maybe is not meeting everybody's needs, that we would stop, retool it, and figure out how we can, better meet the needs of our alumni to keep them connected to the schools. So we're looking at that. We're also going to be redesigning the annual fund. We've got several things under consideration. One will be how we approach the letter writing campaign. Some of it we may look at segmentation of donors. There's several things that we can do, I think, to improve that, so we're looking at those as well. And as I'm sure many of you know, we now have a new director of operations who's got some fairly significant fundraising experience. Has some communication and annual fund experience, which I think is really going to help strengthen our operations. So that's what I had for you. I just wanted to kind of give you an update of where we were, and hope to continue to have these things be good news every time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Lindsay Walls is who's the director of operations, and I think she's a real good addition to her on other projects.
She'll work for the school corporation and for the foundation, is that what I understand?
yeah,
I think some minor things that she might help around with the office. It's
Okay.
probably, the vast
Minimal.
majority is the foundation.
Yeah.
But being she's here in the office, she could assist with a few things.
Yeah, but her main duties will be with the foundation, much like Abby's were.
I got a letter last year, right when school started. Was that to every parent? Was that as a school board member? And the reason I asked the question is, would it be possible with our new sophisticated textbook rental and lunch payment to just add a thing on there? I wanted to contribute to the, but then one less check I have to write, I'm more apt to check that. And
Yeah, we're looking at some different ways of kind of accessing the parents' information when we realize that there's some probably privacy issues and those kinds of things that we need to be careful of. So we're kind of considering how we do that, and that's all being looked at as we look at our database as well. But you might have gotten a letter if it was from the annual fund if you were a previous donor.
I just think it's one-stop shopping. I'm more apt to.
It's kind of like donating
Write
a dollar
one
to
check
the
and then-
presidential thing, right? So, but then
Some
you
here,
get
some here, some
PTO and
Yeah.
parent council, all that stuff.
I'm trying to think about something that was myself. But.
I can't remember it either,
Yeah.
so,
Okay. Anything else, Michael? Appreciate it very much. Anybody, any other
Okay.
questions from Mike?
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate those updates.
Keep up the good work.
Yes, thank
Continue
you
to
for
be
all your- Thank you for all you're doing,
Man.
to say the least. And you are now required to sit back there for the next 20 minutes.
Run, Michael, run.
Wait, I think that's my phone ringing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, Mitch is calling. Yeah, when he calls you,
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
all right, see ya.
Bye.
We'll move on to Common School Fund Loan and Dr. Killian.
Another round has appeared, and so I'm just requesting permission to make application for another common school fund loan. This is the smaller of the two events, and it'll go primarily for wireless access points and upgrade Google Chrome carts.
Okay.
Move approval.
Moved by Mrs. Sauter. Second by Dr. Springer. Discussion, please. Questions?
Keep the streak alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good way to go.
keeps the technology team happy.
3 feet, 5 feet, what is it?
27 feet.
This would be what, Ross, 18?
18.
18, Pete?
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, that motion carries. Move on to farmer's market sign and Dr. Killian.
We've been
Can I
approached
see
to a request to put to allow a farmer's market sign to go
Thank
up. It's actually adjacent to some of our land. I vetted it with Larry and Lefty, with Ross and with Bob Riley, and we all think that it seems like a reasonable request, and the city's going to take care of all the maintenance. And you have a letter, and then I also gave you the copy of the location for your consideration.
Okay.
Wow.
Good motion.
Move approval.
Moved
Second.
by Dr. Springer, seconded by Mrs. Witt. Mrs.
Okay,
Song.
we all
Is it-
have all these different pictures.
Do we get to pick each
Do we get
week
to
they
vote
choose?
on
Well, what it
those?
was is that they have different designs that they're looking at. It's not, you know, they're not gonna have eight signs. They have a tomato design.
No eggplant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not, you
I'm
know,
liking the pumpkin,
yeah.
but that's so seasonal.
My question is.
Yeah, the banana.
No bananas.
Tomatoes
If
is
anything
perfect.
happens related to that sign,
Mhm.
it crashes to the ground, there's any kind of damage, anything
It's
like
theirs.
it is a large, heavy sign.
Yeah.
It's on them.
Yes,
Okay.
sure.
And that's in writing.
Yes.
It
They will be
says
in
that, I
writing.
think.
I just
All right.
wanted
Yeah,
to be
Yeah,
clear on that
all
issue.
liability, all maintenance belongs to them.
To
The
John
only thing we
Dennis.
might have to do is go out and have Lefty paint the tomato.
He is artistic.
He's not listening.
Be a green tomato. Or front-
Yeah, I think it's, go ahead.
Potato
Well,
would be good.
And it looks to
How
be a
about
very
some of that
permanent
popcorn?
installation, so,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
it's not an
Kettle
easily
corn.
removed item, so we
Nope.
know that we're looking at a long time.
Yep,
Okay,
yeah.
So it's
Well,
on Cumberland Avenue, that's where the sign is?
No,
it's on
no,
Salisbury.
no.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I have never been able to figure this. Yeah, I
This is the
see
entrance.
that.
The new paving looks
Oh,
very
it's
nice.
back
Yeah.
Yeah,
here.
they're helping us. I
Oh,
mean,
I
we're getting
haven't-
some
oh, man.
back scratching. Bob and Lefty have been working
Salisbury.
with us to help us
Where are you?
make sure
Got
that,
it.
you know, it's kind of a
Oh, it's the
joint
Allen's
thing.
house?
It's not just a
And it's
one-sided
supposed to have
adventure.
its house.
It's a good,
Or
great
adventure.
community effort,
It
in
is.
my opinion.
Yeah.
It is.
How about neon lighting?
I say light up the tomato would be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Glow in the dark tomato.
yeah.
Karen,
Yeah, what's wrong
anybody
with
else,
that?
any other comments?
A green glow in the dark tomato.
Or green bean?
Yeah.
Anybody else with any comments of any validity or substance? Nothing personal.
We could light the tomato red when we win a football game. And
There you
Oh,
are.
now that's good. A spinning
That
tomato.
happens relatively
All right,
relevant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries, so I do think it's a great project. So, cyber liability policy, Mr. Clary.
Wow, that's still going to be a tough one to follow up on.
Yeah, there you go.
You can do it.
The cyber liability quote received from Kelly Kitchell from the Henry I Group, the total renewal, $7,995. The amount was really close to prior year amount. He also wants to see if we can get the policy extended so we're on a calendar year basis.
Was he successful with that, or he's just asking us if we're willing to do that?
Is willing to do that.
So you mean to move it to Jan 1 to December 31st, is that obvious?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. I thought I read it.
Tim, has he identified what the exclusions are? That's always the rub.
That's
And
what I
the reason I bring this up is, in particular, ACH deposits issues, when we do electronic depositing. See, I'm just curious if it's covered that. So he needs to tell us what the exclusions are.
Okay.
And you can run it past me, just because I can tell you where
That's
this
Yeah.
is a real hot button area.
Right. The hacking and other types of
Yes, it is.
attacks on our system.
yes.
Okay, I'll get in contact with him and
Okay.
we can get some
You
written
can just have,
information on the
Kelly Young right across the
Okay.
hall. He can just come over and take 5 minutes of my time and run it
Okay.
past me. Yeah.
You know, I guess I would like to have this policy written so that I can understand it. Do you know what I mean? I see all the lists and the numbers, but that doesn't mean
Well, I
anything
think last
to
year
me.
when we discussed it
Yeah.
as the initial, they really came and explained it. I felt
Okay,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
understood it, so
I want to see it
you
again.
want to see it on paper,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I would still vote in favor of it because everything we heard was positive, but I really think I would like to see it again.
Yeah, we can give you, we can get
Or all
the
of us.
information to Bob from Kelly Kitchell, and then we can give you the next
Right.
board meeting a more informal summary. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I think that's important
Okay.
there.
I don't know that we even started with a motion here, but let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back to any of the discussion.
So we're moving to kind of continue the conversation, find out about changing the year, renewing it, getting more information, or we're voting to pass it?
We're voting to accept the cyber liability policy.
So we can
With-
enact it, so we can have protection.
Right.
Pending, I would
Pending
say
any
pending,
changes.
pending legal review for the final execution.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Witt.
Second.
Second by
Tom?
Mr. Schott. Additional discussions or questions? I mean, I think that's reasonable to do that and be able to figure that out.
And then in August, or whenever, we'll bring back to you.
I think
general
that should,
summary.
not necessarily for me, I think that should be available.
Yeah.
To say what we have.
Sure.
You know,
Okay, that's a good
written in
point.
terms that the layman can
Yeah,
understand.
sure.
Okay, anything else, guys? All in favor, please say aye.
Uh,
Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Move on to revised textbook adoption, and Mr. Clary, it's back on.
Okay, on the high school, there were some adjustments to the social studies textbook rentals. The textbooks came in later after the board initially adopted the rates.
Right.
And then on the miscellaneous category, 2 new classes were added, and textbooks were also adopted after initial adoption. With Happy Hollow on the spreadsheet, there was an error in the column for the 6th grade rental fee. The amount was $122, and that was the amount from the prior year. The spreadsheet was updated to make the new amount $128. So we're asking for approval of those changes to the high school and to Happy Hollow Elementary textbook rental charges.
Okay. Okay, need a motion, please.
Move approval.
Moved by Dr.
Mr. President, can I make a?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, there's legal, there's been a change in the law effective July 1st on textbooks. Are you aware that you're allowed to charge 25%, not 15% of the cost?
Right.
And I just,
Okay.
Gives you a little bit more.
FYI.
you're aware of that? Okay, I didn't.
Right.
Moved by Dr. Springer, and
Second.
second by Mr. Schott. Questions? No, how about real questions? Any questions or comments? Okay, and I appreciate the comments, Bob, on that. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Move on to school registration dates. I don't know what I necessarily have to add to the fray, except for what was in the documents, but
Just wanted to make them a part of the minute.
yeah. Need a motion for approval of dates. Moved by Mrs. Witt,
Second.
second by Dr. Springer. Any questions or discussion?
Is there been communication among the different building administrators to coordinate that start of the year registration, open
Open
house?
houses, yep. We won't have the glitches this year that we had last year.
Great.
That's the plan anyway.
I love a plan.
Yeah, we do, especially if it's implemented well.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Move on to school board meeting calendar, 2015-16, and Dr. Killian.
I asked April to put together a tentative calendar. Of course, these things can change, but kind of gives us what we're aiming for the 15-16 school year.
Move approval.
Moved by Dr. Springer. Second by Mr. Schott. Yeah, that certainly can be a moving target in terms of that, but we've always done a good job.
Does having the first day of school cause you any issues?
Yeah. I'm here.
Nicely, that's right, nicely into the real world, that's fine. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Move on to the West Lafayette Library Board appointment, and relatively recent but new news, and Dr. Killian.
Yes, I asked April to make contact with some folks that were names given to us, and Anastasia Kratoulis has agreed to accept the appointment if the board appoints her to the West Lafayette Library Board for the next 4 years.
So,
Moved by Mrs. Sauter,
Second.
second by Dr. Springer. Questions or comments?
Thanks for taking care of that.
Yeah, and
Well, actually, I gotta give Nick the credit because I couldn't find anyone to say yes, and then Nick sent us names, and then April did the contacts, and Anastasia said yes. So I think it's a good choice.
all in favor, please say aye for Anastasia.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Donation acceptance, Band Booster donating 26-foot cargo trailer to band, value of $8,000. I'll be happy to take that one. But
It's a nice trailer.
Need a motion for approval, please.
So
Moved by Mrs. Witt,
Second.
second by Mr. Schott. That is a very nice donation. Any
Where will
comments?
Will it be
Where will it
stored
be?
or?
Yeah, maintenance out there.
where?
Maintenance?
And they've got the field all done, so there's.
Yeah, the field looks great. Talk about the perfect timing to do a field.
Yeah, with the rain.
rain.
It's
It's
amazing.
the only place the rain's been good.
Yeah,
really.
I'm telling you.
Gosh, no doubt.
Can we know who the donation's from, or is that?
It's from the band boosters.
Yeah.
Oh, with
Band
the-
Boosters
okay,
Project
all right.
are donating.
Well, I
They
see
got a
that
grant
now, but I
from-
thought it was a
The
band, I thought it was
booster.
a
Oh, not
booster.
band booster.
Let it be a
So-
lowercase b.
You got a
It
grant
ought to
from
be,
Subaru
yes,
or
with an
something
S on
like
it,
that.
yes.
Ross?
I know
I think that
Should be
the gal
We're
that
taking
gave
care of
us
that.
the trailer said they got a grant. I think Subaru or some, as a local company, gave them a chunk
Oh.
of money to buy it. That's
Nice.
how this happened for the
That's
trailer.
nice.
Yeah, it's a nice trailer, and
Is it
Don
like
Pettit's
a-
gonna haul it.
A horse trailer kind of size?
No, it's a big cargo trailer.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a double axle trailer. It has a door in the back, lift gate in the back, and 2 side doors up to the front.
That's really
And then they're
cool.
gonna
I
get a
think we
wrap
could
on
rent
it
that
with
out.
music and all that
For
stuff.
Got a
moving
living
parties.
room, kitchen,
Yeah.
open kitchen.
It's really helpful for marching band.
Yeah,
It's-
that's
Oh,
good.
yeah,
It's
it's great.
really a big deal.
Yeah.
That's great from that standpoint.
A lot of good things happening.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, hearing none, we're grateful for the donation, and that will make a big difference. Overnight out-of-school field trips, we'll put those together with the, all have yet to happen. High school robotics to Rockford, Illinois for competition. Boys and girls cross-country to Chesterton for camp on August 4th through the 7th. High school robotics to Rantoul for the Illinois for the Air Museum on Saturday the 8th of August. Need a motion?
Move approval.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Sauter, second by Mr. Schott. Discussion, or all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. We'll move on to the personnel report that's been submitted to you.
Out of the table.
Need to move approval for the personnel report.
Make your recommendation, you approve all the names listed on the personnel report.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Springer,
Second.
second by Mrs. Witt.
Are we at full capacity now? All
Yes.
positions been filled?
All positions are filled.
Great.
We did it. Whew. I'm glad we're not in August.
Really, because that seems to be well.
We're getting closer.
Yep. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Accounts payable vouchers, and Mr. Clary, floor is yours.
I would like to ask your approval of the accounts payable in the amount of $4,235,809.02. Within the vouchers this month, we had 2 payrolls, and then the big majority of the expenditures were out of the debt service fund. Those payments are made in June and December. So since it's June, we have a large amount of expenditures out of the debt service fund.
Okay.
Also, there's expenditures out of the construction GOB bond fund too, for the Cumberland restroom project and the maintenance building project.
Okay. Let's get a motion, and then we'll come back to any questions for Tim.
Move approval.
Moved by Mrs. Sauter,
Second.
second by Mr. Schott. Okay, any other questions or anything else, Tim, that you want to bring to the table?
I think those are the items that were brought to my attention in the voucher that I'd like a little more explanation. Ross, do you have any additional information you want to add on the?
No, I think you covered them. I
voucher?
think there was a big lease payment, 94,000 out of capital projects. That was for some technology we had a couple years ago as a help lease payment. And that was the last payment, I think, on that loan.
Okay.
Thanks.
Looks like there's been a lot of work in the buildings.
Yeah, a lot of
Leading a
maintenance
lot of
items.
building work right now. Has that all been going well? No
Yeah.
big surprises?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big
How you define
surprises. Yeah.
big surprise.
Define big.
Big.
I think things look a lot better, so.
And lastly, the textbook rental with the school
Right.
year coming up. There's been some purchase of textbooks which are showing up in the June accounts payable.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries, and we'll pay our bills this month. Information to the board, I don't have any additional. Board and superintendent reports, so we'll go around the room. It's been relatively quiet of late, but Tom, anything on your end?
Nothing.
Diane, anything on your end?
Nope. Meeting tomorrow for teacher discussion.
From the Parks Department, the Wabash River Fest is going to be this Saturday from 9 to 4, Tapawingo Park. It's a free family-oriented event that celebrates the Wabash River. And the highlight of the event is the canoe races, and the featured races, of course, the City of Lafayette versus City of West Lafayette.
How exciting.
And then John Munn is the new Parks Director as of June 1, and this is just not the superintendent, but the parks. He replaced Lee Booth, who retired.
Okay. Thank you. Negotiations are just that we've begun that process, and we'll, I think it's August 1st is where we can have an official disclosure of how that has all transpired, but everything is moving along there, and that's really it for my report as well. Rocky, anything else in additional?
I just wish Brad were here so he could say he can't tell us
Yeah.
anything.
A couple updates on construction. Cumberland and maintenance, we're nearing the end. I think we had the punch list. Was that today or yesterday?
We had the punch list today on, well, actually we had it on both. Cumberland, we found one place where the caulker has to come back from Greenfield to caulk around the door because something happened, but it's essentially done. And then maintenance, they have to get some painting done, and they were finishing up on the inside today, but the rain stopped any of the outside work. So they've got a little bit on the roof to do, and hopefully that will be done yet this week. We just need some dry weather, which hasn't been a problem at all this spring.
So the caulker is in Evansville?
Greenfield.
Oh, Greenfield, okay.
And then
There's probably a caulker in it.
Oh, my life.
And then we're rebidding the junior, senior high school parking lot entryway.
Yeah.
And it looks like now we don't have to move the sign. There's been some reconfiguration, so that'll save us a little bit of money. And Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think now if we're under the $350,000 threshold, we don't have to have a common wage
That's
hearing.
right.
And would you recommend that we, if it's under the 350, that we
In fact, by statute, you can't have a
can't?
common
Okay,
wage. It's
that's what I
illegal
want
to
to
do.
make sure of. So we'll have a bid opening 1st of August?
August the 6th will be the bid opening. We're going to wait tentatively. I mean, this will be up to the contractor, but what is going to be stipulated in the information from KJG would be to start on September the 14th. We're going to have, there's some different things a part of it, but one of the things that we're asking that they allow us to use the current parking lot for bus drop-off and pickup as long as possible. It's estimated it'll probably be a 6 to 8 week project. We're hoping that we might be able to get half of that period of time where we can still use the current entryway for pickup and drop-off of buses. And when we do close it or they have to close it, we will go back to what we did before and pick up and drop off on the north side of the building. And we're going to probably, I met with the police department deputy chief today, we're probably going to close off Leslie Street between Hayes and Grant Street for about a half hour to facilitate that.
That would be good.
Is it clear what walkers should be doing? Was there a plan laid out for that? I know there's been a lot of concern about the bus drivers, but a lot of kids walk that way.
The walkers will do the same, I mean, in theory, they will do the same type of thing because the street will be cleared off. If you go, the police are going to have a presence at school, and this will be communicated to parents. They're going to have a presence at school, for all the good it'll do, to ask parents not to move along and not to double and triple park on Leslie Street. So that's one of the things the police would like to have, and that will greatly help our walkers.
I have a concern about kids not making the best choices, which I know is shocking from teenagers, but kind of doing the dodge between cars thing, and that's such a risk.
Yes, the street will be blocked so that we won't have traffic going through there, so that will, and then with the a normal person is assigned plus the administration out there, they will be monitoring that as the buses will have space between them because the kids will have to be able to get to whichever bus.
Okay.
Because what we're going to do is have the buses double lined. That's why we're going to cut or block the street off.
Okay.
It will effectively affect one house because the other house directly across the street, their driveway is on Hayes. So it will affect that first house on Grant, and I will meet with them and explain it and so on and so forth. And they will, in all their communication and all their meetings and everything with parents, they're going to give parents a heads up, ask for their cooperation. So that's
Just an observation, if we go over that number, there's some certification and compliance issues under the new law, and I'm sure the architects are aware of that, where they've got to be certified by a state organization, and they've got to just a check off on it. So it becomes an issue.
$350,000.
Yeah, they estimate that the not having to do the sign will probably save somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000. So that would get us under the one and only bid that we had before. Plus, we have cut down on the contingency, which will save another $15,000. So we're pretty comfortable. Plus, we should have more bidders this time because of the time frame. That was one of the reasons why we're waiting until mid-September, because we had information from construction people that they have everything due Labor Day as their magic date, and that they are then looking after Labor Day for projects to keep their feet together.
We'll keep them informed.
So I can go through the supply and demand for you if you want, because but we'll just go on.
You're good.
We're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
I struggled with that the first time, 7 years ago,
Yeah.
whenever I took the class.
Start buying futures.
Thank you. Any other communication from the audience? Anybody else want anything? Future meetings, Thursday, July the 9th. Teacher discussion, which Rachel mentioned, Tuesday the 28th, 3 p.m. negotiations. Monday, August 3rd, facilities planning, central office. Then the school year begins on the 12th. That's hard to imagine. And August 12th also is a regular board meeting, and we'll have the same schedule, which I'm sure you've already, regarding the welcome and those kind of things as well.
We'll have the retirement recognitions. Our legislators will be attending that night as well.
Yeah.
And don't forget on the 11th, August 11th, I should have put this on, August 11th is our first staff day. And so we'll have...
That'll be that morning, all right?
Yeah, it'll be 8 to about 9:30
Okay.
at the junior senior high school. And we'll get you more information, but just so that you're thinking about your schedule, if you like to attend. It's always a nice time to see everyone back together and our
Yeah.
new staff.
No question. That is August 11th. And then the new, is it the 8th or so, it would be the new teachers orientation?
That Friday.
Okay.
Friday
All right,
before.
we'll just go, make sure I get that from you so I can address them briefly. Would anybody want a second or provide a motion for adjournment, I should say?
I'll move.
Okay, Mrs. Witt. Also, don't want to appear too eager. Mr. Schott, you will second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed to hearing none, the motion carries. We will adjourn to executive session. If you have any media needs, by all means, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
I'm having a garage sale August 15th.
Yes.
Oh, yeah? Got any choice?
It's got great stuff.
Choice?
It's wonderful.